guys, welcome to another episode of the Ali Show, and today we have another special guest, Will Slingsby. So he's one half of the very famous Instagram show, and I don't want to say Instagram show, but a series, man. I think the better, with his partner in crime, Mr. Tim Provice, who we've also had on the podcast previously. The other half of the bakery runs, and you also run your own film production company. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, titled Off the Ground.
Off the Ground,
yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, our kind of flagship series at the moment is Bakery Runs. And I'm not gonna lie, when we first started it, we didn't think it was gonna get to the point.
Bro,
it did,
it exploded, man. Bro, this is, that's so, bakery, to me, I think it's really cool. The whole bakery runs thing, the whole series thing that you guys are doing. I have loads of respect for that, and I appreciate what you guys do. But man, how did that whole idea come about, bro?
Oh shit. So I've known Tim for ages. It's got to be almost 10 years plus, right? And that was from way back through, playing online games and all that goodness. Street Fighter was our jam. I always beat him. He's going to say different, but take my word for it. So I've known Tim for quite a while, and then I think off the back of the first lockdown, Tim threw out on his social media a 16 pie flavor bracket, like round one, mince versus a sausage roll. Vote, because you know how on Twitter you can put the poll. So he'd do the matchup, and then he'd put a poll in it and get people voting, and then the winner would move on until he found a winner. Right? Can't remember who won that. It's probably the steak and cheese, because that's the ultimate,
a staple. Yeah.
So he did that, and then between him and I, we just always had that running thing of we should do this. And then lockdown hit. I spent 2 years at TVNZ working there. Unfortunately, my contract wasn't renewed because of COVID, is what it is. Instead of kind of moping around that, I lost the job there, creating content, doing what I was doing there. I just, registered a company, doubled down on myself, got some gear, extra gear, and we just started shooting bakery runs.
Sorry, just to interrupt you there. So what were you doing at TVNZ, bro?
TVNZ, I was working.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.
TVNZ, I was working with, it's a small group within TVNZ called Renews. So what their kind of thing is their demographic, they're aiming between 16 to 24, that golden demographic that's all around social media, consuming their news on social media and all that type of stuff. So they're based on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the social media platforms you would be. And they produce just videos around alternate news, things you wouldn't see on the 6 o'clock, right? So if you went to Renews, you're probably going to see short documentary pieces about the LGBT community, minorities and all that type of stuff, kind of the voices you don't hear elsewhere. So I was in that team, and I was actually producing gaming content for them and helping other people in the team shooting their videos or helping wherever I needed to be, right? So I was doing that for close to 2 years, and then COVID hit. Quite a lot of people didn't get their contracts renewed. Got to do what you got to do.
And that kind of sucks because
it did. Yep.
Because there's no, contract based technically, anybody can let you go because they say contracts come to an end.
Yeah.
Legally.
Later.
Yeah.
In saying that though, it wasn't like a hard kick out the door. At TVNZ, when COVID kicked in, they restructured the whole business. They got rid of people across the board and marketing, advertising. I think a lot of the higher ups, execs and all that took pay cuts, restructured everyone right through top to bottom. So it's not like I didn't see it coming. I was the only contractor on that team. COVID's starting to hit. You see people in other jobs starting to get striked. I read between the lines. So I just made sure there were things in place as a safeguard, which ultimately was my current boss just needing someone. He just picked me up off the back of, I think I was jobless for like 2 days in the midst of COVID. So like I can't complain one bit. Right?
2 days, that's not too bad, eh?
You'll never catch me complaining. So, I got a new job. It's based in and around like marketing, advertising right now with a bunch of tech brands and gaming teams and all that. But then, I was talking to Tim and I just decided to register my production company, invest into myself, get the lighting, a couple other pieces, mics, all that stuff to shoot what is the bakery runs, and potentially when I get around to it and find time, other productions, whether it's food-based, music-based, music videos, all that stuff. Like I just want to start smashing it out. Because before I registered this company, I was free and I was at TVNZ. I was freelance for about 2.5 years. And freelance life, I don't think is for me. It's hard, man. It's real hard,
bro. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I think that's the other thing as well. Like, as a freelance contractor, we talk about in general across different industries. Like, you might be able to get more money, but the job consistency, it's kind of like a gamble.
Yeah, I mean, 1 week you can just be busy, Monday to Friday, 16-hour days, back to back to back to back, and then it kind of dries up week 2, and then it comes in waves. That's from my experience. Maybe I just wasn't capitalizing in certain areas, but I like having that security. So like I'll happily have a 9 to 5, and then when it snaps, the day ends at 5 with the 40-hour work week, I'll easily pivot and snap into my own projects that I have out of it with ease. Like I've just worked from 9 to 5 and then 5 to like 12. I can do that constantly. Just as long as I'm working on projects that fuels the creative side. So right now, I shot 2 music videos pretty much back to back with 2 different artists. And the thing there, what I'm gaining out of those 2 is that they're both one take music videos. They're just from start to finish, one constant take. But that's what I'm saying. It's fueling that creative kind of side, is that I've never done a one take before.
Yeah.
Let's experiment. Okay, we found someone that wants to get on board. And
man, that must not be easy for
a
music video, a one take. Bro,
it's something like
So how? Okay, walk me through how that whole process is like for music video, because I don't know. I've never experienced like how do you shoot a music video? Like
just a music video in general.
Yeah. Just
so I'll throw it out here. Maybe I do a lot of things unconventional. I do like going off the beaten path. Even if I know I can just do what you do in certain things, I'll just go over here. I'll just do my own thing.
Just do do it your own way.
So what I do is I generally just do before obviously the recording day, you just sit down with the artist face to face, one-on-one. You talk over the song, kind of the vibe, what their vision is for it. And then I throw out my vision, and then we see where we meet, and then we just bounce back and forth. Like, for instance, the one take I shot recently, I threw out the idea of doing it one take. The artist was thinking, oh yeah, that's cool. And then he presented the environment that we're shooting. And I was like, cool, that sounds good. I'll break it down to the tech side. So the recent one, it starts off with him in a chair, and he's writing his lyrics in the book. And then he gets up and then he hands it off to his mate that's in this living room world. And then he's just vibing, reading the lyrics, and he's like, yo, daps him up. And then he exits the scene while the camera's tracking him. And he goes into another scene. It's a kitchen scene with his other 2 mates. They're at the kitchen table having food. He passes the book to them. And then he grabs something to eat. And then he starts performing. And then he's walking towards the camera. He's performing. He does a change into a new set of clothes,
Yeah.
outfit, and then he rushes towards the camera. I turn around, and he's on a studio, well lit backdrop performing. So that's all one take. So
Wow.
that may sound easy, but
Man.
where he started at the start of the song is where his wardrobe is, and he does the change. So we needed people to move the first set while we were recording these little worlds.
Okay.
And then I'm backing towards an open space, and he changes, and then I pivot and turn into the studio, and he performs. That's a 1 minute, 30-second one take. And the crazy thing is, and this is what I'm saying, like, I do these things for obviously like the creative side, but you learn so much. So at the end of that shoot, I learned how the set changes happen, how many people you need to make those set changes happen. Everyone needs to be on the same vibe and understand the end vision, and all the little detail that you might see on a second or third watch. You can plan them, but a lot of the ones in the 2 one takes I have shot recently are made up on the spot. Like the artist performing might suggest, yo, what do you think if I put on these sunglasses at this point and then dap up my mate that walks past or something? Cool. That's just extra detail we didn't really initially plan. And that's what I'm saying. Like maybe people out there that have done, the traditional one take, they might plan those little details and intricacies that you might see in the video. I feel just it's more natural and easier on the day to figure it out. And that's what I mean. Like that might be a bit untraditional. But yeah, it's the end goal. Once you all get to the end goal, it doesn't matter
for like the production like that, how many guys were there to do this whole thing?
So we had 4 extras, 2 in each world. The performer, so that's 5, and then the 2 guys changing the set were also kind of like lighting crew and playback, and then there's me on the camera. So that's 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a small crew as well. That is a small
I would
crew.
imagine usually it'd be like 14, 15, 16 people maybe.
And then I don't know if it's different with everyone else, but I'm going to assume if you have a New Zealand On Air funded music video, you have that budget for those bigger crews, which means access to bigger and better gear through rental companies, and then you can kind of just upscale the idea. You can go off location and all that.
So wait, there's a budget actually provided by
NZ On Air?
Yeah. So okay, wait, man, you gotta
break
say,
it
okay.
down.
So what's what is I'm not too sure. What is NZ On Air?
New Zealand On Air, I'm pretty sure is just covers television. I think it might just be TV.
So what is this organization like? What do they?
So I can only really speak on it from the music side. I think every 2 or 3 months there's a pool of money that goes out, and I think it's broken down into new music up to 10 grand or a music video up to 5. Don't quote me on any of these, but I'm pretty sure it works to those guys.
So are they a private government or like it's a private organization?
I don't think so. I think they're like the official.
Okay, so like they help to fund
music projects for artists.
Yeah, for artists and
music videos.
To give them like a bit of a helping hand.
Yeah. I also think a big part to that is I don't think they give the lump sum of $5,000 to the artist. I think it's probably like 3 or 4, or the artist makes up a certain percent, just to show like your commitments there. We're not going to give you the lump sum
just to do it. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I'm not an artist, and I've only done 1 NZ On Air music video.
But that's pretty cool. Like there is some help, some funding to get.
Oh, for sure.
Give them a bit of a kickstart.
Yeah, no, I think there's barely any funding in Australia. Ooh. Like I think over in Aussie, I think you're just it's like a cold boot to the butt. Like if you make it cool. Otherwise, no, I'm pretty sure that was the case. Yeah. I remember my brother telling me at one point that there was stuff all funding. Might have changed by now, not too sure. But yeah, the NZ On Air also does stuff with the Film Commission, I believe. So it's just all these kind of pools of money that people can pull from NZ On Air or whoever's putting it out, but they theme some of them. So one round.
What's the catch though? Is there got to be like some sort of catch, bro? You know, like
No, I mean from who I've worked with and what I know is you pretty much just have to show, the paper trail of where it went.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to assume there's artists that have just done runners, maybe, and they just get blacklisted or something. But it's generally going to be for the benefit of the artist to produce the music video because $5,000's a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah,
it is. But like there's going to be budgets. Bigger and better budgets, you can just do much more. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To me,
$5,000. Talking about gear and all that, like we were on a conversation, we were talking about camera gear, cinema camera gear and like lighting, this, that, whatnot. Like, bro, those stuff are, they're not cheap. And we were just going through like rental prices of like, all of that stuff. Like those already cost a lot of money. And we haven't even talked about like manpower, like having a crew of like, man, you talk about having a crew of like 10 guys, for example. People got to be paid. Yeah. Like, okay, let's say, I don't know how much they expect to be paid. Like, let's say you just give $100 per person, for example, like that's $1,000 at least gone.
Yep.
Just for these people to, and it's not $1,000, like, people don't, these days,
Yeah, it's like the way I operate is if I'm doing a video, I want to make sure I benefit from it one way or another. I'm not just going to do a video for the sake of doing a video. I say that, but then if someone came to me and was like, we have $100,000 for you to shoot this, I'm going to say yeah, right? Like, I'm going to say yeah. But what I mean by that is like,
obviously,
whether it's the concept or the way it's shot, I always need it to progress my skill set, right? You always need to learn from what you did before, right? Exactly. So like, to throw it back to those one takes, right? That was a huge challenge. I learned a lot, but I'm not just going to keep doing one takes. Like they're going to get easier as you go because you're doing it more often and you're learning as you go. So whatever's next, I'm going to pursue. Maybe it's like a miniature, how they do the little miniature models and like have a zoom lens right on. Maybe it's a music video like that.
Is that a probe lens? I don't know what they are.
Oh yeah, the real like thin,
kind of long ones. Those are pretty cool, man. I think
a lot of food shoots.
Yeah,
use those.
I watched that one on Peter Mckinnon.
I know the one.
Yeah, he's a real famous photographer from Canada. I think I when I first like started looking at like a lot of these videographers and shit, I think Peter Mckinnon was one of them. Like I enjoyed watching his stuff, bro, and he's a real creative guy. The videos that he does and he's doing really well, but I think just what I liked about him was how he was real creative and he didn't follow what everybody else was doing,
like people, I'd say people that are kind of made it like that, they're actually about being a creative for the sake of being a creative. I won't ever like shit on anyone that like attempts to be creative because like I reckon like that's the coolest shit you can do is like I don't know, rip a page out of a book and like origami something and you now have art, right? But it's hard to kind of pull away from the pool and become one of the guys, so to speak, when everyone's shooting video content on their phones, their Canon 60Ds, their A7S2s, and just throwing it out there. You're not going to get too much difference from like person one on his phone to 60D user because they're just shooting video, like they're just shooting a family video or, their guy running at the camera and then making them disappear in After Effects or something like that. So people like Peter is just like he was one of the first as well. He's kind of first to market in a sense. I think he's so big now, he has his own brand ND filters.
Yes.
Like,
I
so he's,
think
I think it's
they might not be his own.
or signatures
Yes,
line,
might not be his own
something
brand,
like that.
but I think his own line.
Yeah,
From
like-
it's a pretty big bro. His ND filters they're not cheap. I think
No,
when I
they're not.
I saw them, you know how there's an interesting one when you watch this is the other thing as well. When you watch stuff on YouTube and all that, like all your data, your info is all tracked, right? And then you'll see ads, like
Yeah, tailored to.
yeah, tailored to. And then I think that was when I saw one of his ND filter ads popped up, and I think, man, it was pretty expensive. Might have been like 200, 300 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, they're pretty pricey.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like when you have an audience that big and all around the world, and like you gotta build that trust with people. Like people trust you when you say it now.
100%.
Like that's why I think it's very important. Like when you are on a platform where you know, for example, like doing a podcast now, like I try to be very careful about like what I promote and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure.
Because you don't, if you start promoting stuff like that's crap, like
your brand quality comes down with it,
it's just
right?
no trust, bro.
Yeah.
So like you have to be really careful as well. I understand, and that's the other thing I talk to with a lot of people as well about like getting sponsors and just partnerships, affiliates, and all that sort of stuff. Like I understand. At the end of the day, you have to, cover back your costs, monetize this, that, whatnot. But I think like for me, man, I think that I have to be. Well, I don't know about other people, but like for me, I like to know that people can trust me, and I'm not just like pushing out shit just for the sake
for sure.
Well,
it's funny you bring that up. Myself, I'm in the position like that with bakery runs. I'm exactly in the same position. I'm not going to say Tim has the opposite opinion or anything, but I don't want to be pushing said brand that's throwing a couple of free t-shirts at us all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like it just you don't we know our worth, and we now have to try turn it into something. It's probably not even going to recuperate the cost anywhere near close to what it is. But if you're going to involve yourself in brands, it should be ones that just align with not only like your product, but also like the way you think.
Exactly.
I just don't even want to bring on a brand that just cheapens.
Exactly. Yeah,
brand,
I think,
right?
And I think that's, you see, this is one thing that I understand. Like when sometimes certain, people pop up on the internet, podcast series or whatever, people, comedians or whatever, like nobody really wants to jump on board. And then once they see that, oh, this guy's getting a little bit of traction, people are paying attention, they're getting noticed, then like, oh, we're gonna send them some free stuff and this, that, whatnot. And like, I appreciate it. Like people who wanna,
for sure.
But like if you expect so much, like, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. I'm just not about that sort of thing, right? It's just like I would much rather produce something with an organic following, and then if your following is just organic and is actually the accurate numbers that you preach, then you should have no problem community crowdsourcing it.
Exactly.
Or parts of it. Not throwing out, hey guys, I need $400 for rent this week or something. No, it's like you still have to present like foolproof plans, right? So for instance, throw it out there, if we were to crowdsource a season of bakery runs, we're giving you a full rundown from start to finish where all that money's going, right? And I kind of feel like we might be able to do part fund a season. Maybe I'm just underestimating our following. Feel free to prove me wrong, guys. But I'd much rather that over. Well, why would you just take all this free stuff? You're not getting paid. Plain and simple, right? But then if you're going to a brand that you don't necessarily agree with, I probably wouldn't take their money either, just because it doesn't line up with what you're about.
Yeah, I think that's real important. You got to be true to like your identities as well. You know, and like I think that the thing with bakery run. Sorry, you were asking me which was my favorite episode.
Your favorite.
Man, I to be honest, like I enjoy it all. Like everybody just brings each a different guest brings something different.
Yeah.
I think the one that was really quite catchy, the recent one would be the one with Terrell. That one's pretty funny. I enjoy that one, man. And like the lady who popped out of nowhere, because was that planned or was that unplanned, bro?
Yo,
Where did she come from, man?
That was not planned. Like, there are so many moments when we're filming this, just people hanging out van windows yelling at Tim, "Hey, bakery runs, hey," or that mid-recording, like. And that is cool as shit to see. Like, when I see that, I'm like, well, we must be doing something right?
People recognize.
No fronting, though. Tim's, in front of the camera, he can talk to anyone, any situation, from any background, this and that, right?
That's just his superpower, like what he was saying,
He knows his shit. He knows he's good at it. I do give him a bit of shit from time to time, but no, he's fucking on with what he does, right? And he should be able to flex that a little bit. Like, he knows he's good, and he produces a lot of content, right? I don't think anyone else comes close to producing his output, from what I see. I obviously don't have eyes on everyone.
His output is insane, man. The work rate of the man.
Yeah.
Oof.
So he's getting it done. But jumping back, that older lady in the name's escaping me. I should know it's considering I edited, but that is not planned at all. No lie, we were filming Terrell and Tim straight to the camera, and then all of a sudden we hear this lady's voice. I think she said, "Can I come sit down with you?" And then obviously those two jokers were like, "Of course, of course.
Why not?" Right?
The funny thing is, what's in that episode, there's a lot more that was cut out. Like, maybe when we wrap the whole thing, Bakery Runs up, I can leak out the full interviews of that. But it was pretty intense. It was pretty out there. But that was totally not planned at all. And the cool thing is, not being tied down to kind of a network or any of that sort of thing. We can do that. We can, if we really wanted to be unfiltered on the language, we could, but we're not, right? Like, it leaks through here and there, but that's just that's just Tim.
I think that's the other thing with like language and content as well. Like, you want to keep it no filters, but like you, as a, I don't know, like, I understand as well that there might be of different age groups who watch our stuff.
Totally.
And I just want to like just let it be for everybody, like,
for sure.
And
the cool thing about Bakery Runs, I think, is that it's just found that kind of groove in a sense. Like, the actual outline of the show, right? We go to a bakery, we always get the steak and cheese, because let's not front, like, the best flavor is steak and cheese, and if your bakery can't do a good steak and cheese, they're probably not going to do good other flavors, mince and cheese, mince, sausage rolls, all that stuff. So we always get a steak and cheese. Our second choice is always kind of like the weirder flavors, potato top, lamb, chicken and cranberry, all that type of stuff. And then we get a sweet thing, kind of trying to cover the board as much as possible. That is just, and then reviewing it, right? Like, that's, dated before us, our first upload, episode 1, you could go on YouTube and find local versions, very similar-ish. The difference is, with my background behind the camera, I was just able to make it look TV show-esque.
More appealing as well.
Yeah, it's just like, the higher quality, people are just going to consume it over, shaky, vertical cell phone footage of one guy filming a pie. Don't get me wrong, there are people doing that well as well on TikTok and all the other platforms. But I think, paired with obviously Tim in front of the camera, it's just gone. It's
the whole package, good quality video, audio, the personality, person behind the camera, getting the right angles, like
mixing it up.
It's just it all comes together. Like
it is pretty crazy to look back on the 2 seasons and look at the guest line that we've had. Like, obviously Tim knows who he knows and he's been able to rope them in, but then off the back of some of the people we've got in, they've seen, they shot with da-da-da. Yeah, I'll get amongst, because it's kind of like the credit. You got that cosign sort of thing, right? So looking back on, like, the 2 seasons, the big one, and Tim, I don't know why I just didn't think it was going to spike us. I don't
Let
even
me guess.
ask.
Is it the one with Joseph Acker?
Yes. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I was just in, I think there's a few things in the edit that I'm not entirely happy with. So I kind of, just kind of striked it out in my head, but I shouldn't have, because it's Joseph Parker. Like, of course it's going to spike, right? And honestly, everything you see in that episode is literally just the banter between the two. Like, it is just that raw, the laughs are real. And I think that's what is appealing, right? I do also think what played into our favor was off the back of lockdown, we started this. Not a lot of people were looking for, were kind of not struggling, but want that kind of wholesome, happy content. Because off the back of lockdown, we just came out of a lockdown, coronavirus. Yeah, right. Man. It was pretty
depressing, man.
So I think that's kind of where we slotted in. Check out this guy having banter with these guys over pies. It's a very New Zealander thing. Like, who doesn't like a good steak and cheese pie? And yeah, it's kind of just all just rolled into itself and snowballed. And
I think I
got to put it out there real quick. Season 3. Yo, you guys ain't seen nothing yet. Season 3 is so clean. Both from everyone involved. Tim, myself on the camera, and the guest. It is just on.
So
I'll gas that up till I die, by the way.
A little bit of a lowdown. You don't have to release too much detail, but has the whole season 3 been like recorded, or nah? It's
yes.
The whole
so yeah. Tim and this is the first time, actually. Season 3 is the first time we had to shoot everything. Okay. The reason being, him and I are we work. We love rapid pace. Like, I've said to him multiple times, and he agrees, I don't think you'll find any 2 other people in a creative duo that can match our pace and output. And if you do find them, send them our numbers, because we want to work with them. It's that sort of buzz, right? So we just said to each other, in January, let's just get all 8 episodes done. And we'll go from there. We'll start planning season 4, which we have shooting dates, and we're going to start shooting season 4 soon without having released an episode of season 3. But also the reason why we did that is because the guests we got, they're now busy. Like, they'd be unattainable to get. You'll see when we bring on the guest, you'll see why they're busy now, because the field's there, and I don't want to leak that too much.
Release too much information.
There's a couple of factors to it, but that's the first season we've done that. Generally, we don't. And in saying that we shot all of season 3, season 3, we still listen to the request. It's not like we've shut off. Like, here and there, we pick the recommendations that kind of fit the guests if they don't have one, or we want to vibe out south, so we'll pick a south recommendation and pair it with one that we've wanted to go to. So that is a bit of a leak of information there. But we're still listening to people out there. We know we need to go back to Hong Kong Bakery. We know we need to go to Callum's. We know we've got a long list, and we're here for the long run.
Season 3. So as it I understand there was a point you guys wanted to go to Wellington, was it? So this is this the one in? Okay, maybe we don't go down to the specifics. Is it in North Island or?
Season 3 is in the North Island.
Okay, it's in the North Island. All right. Are you guys planning to go down to like the South Island and stuff like that? Or?
100%. There's between all the ideas we've thrown back and forth, we've got full seasons planned out roughly right up to 10.
Wow.
like and we've figured out kind of, I don't want to spoil it,
Yeah.
but there is season 4 is a cool idea. Season 5 and 6 are all pretty unique, and it comes down in terms of like guests, where I don't know how to word it, but there is going to be a community based season.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, like it's I mean, what I've said might sound like, oh yeah, we've got these guests that are, you know, up here or any of that, but like we do, you know, reply to as many people as we can. We've honestly taken every recommendation and smashed it into a list. Like that is, if we did every single bakery on that list, it'd be like 40 seasons. Maybe we do 40 seasons. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe.
It keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and that's the other thing as well. Like, you know, just like replying to, and like, cause sometimes it's a lot of work. You know, you're already doing a lot of work, and you receive like this whole influx of people trying to.
Dude, it's pretty wild.
It's hard.
Pretty wild.
It's hard to keep up.
I will admit, like, everything I get involved in, like I was saying, is like I want to be learning a new skill set at the very least, or bettering a said skill set. So, like, yes, you are replying to a lot of people, and I'm also doing parts of the social side. I didn't know any of that before bakery runs came along. Like, I had to learn how, you know, you plug an ad into Facebook, how that all works, what the analytics are telling you, like what that actually means, and getting a measurement of like what's working, what's not. That's what I learned off the back of bakery runs. Like that's, in this day and age, is pretty valuable. And then now going forward, say if there's any job in the future that has like, you know, you might get a little bit of a pay rise knowing the social media elements, I can put my hand up and say, I know how to run Facebook.
Ads.
Yeah, Facebook ads, Instagram
ads. There's like programs and schools now, bro, just to teach people how to run ads, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't think I'm like that deep, but yeah, it's much more than I knew a year ago.
If you think about it, like, you know, there are people out there who already started like monetizing. You know, they learn, and then they'll conduct courses to teach people how to do that.
The cool thing with that, so we did a pop-up. We did a pop-up store at Pyfee on K Road, which
that was the one.
Just the idea alone that I was part of that and had a hand in bringing business to a local small business.
That was just dope, man.
That's mind-blowing to me, to be honest. That's definitely a top 3 highlight off the back of this. But what I was going to say is, after that, we sold out. So we did a smoked trevally, potato top, and bacon and egg with mee goreng noodles.
Mee goreng, yeah.
And then we took their Pyfee, which is a biscuit cup. We put the coffee in, drink the coffee, eat the biscuit cup. We did a Cocoa Pops version. So chocolate milk in, Cocoa Pops on top, eat your Cocoa Pops out of it, eat the biscuit, right? Those were the 3 things we did. We served it up. The 2 flavors of pie sold out in 40 minutes. And then Lee had to go out the back and make more. And then I can't remember how much that second batch took to sell out, but it sold out by the time we left. And the cool thing is, we want to do another one this year towards the end of the year, but we're now thinking of like those vertical avenues of making money, like ourselves. So like we know we want to do merch. That's going to be one avenue. Do we put it in a place that's central to everyone and chuck a DJ in, and then we just vibe out in the car park and just be, you know, in and around like what we love, right? The bakery, good tunes in the summer, right? Good music, all that type of stuff. So we're thinking about it on that level. And that's also something that I've never had experience in. I know Tim sold a couple of merch items off the back of his personal brand, so he's very like well versed in that area. But this is all stuff that, you know, like I said, always just learning going forward. And that's all off the back of, you know, I pointed a camera at my mate eating 3 bakery items, and then I put it out on YouTube, and now we're 16 episodes deep, and we're now thinking about stuff like that. Like, I never thought I'd be a part of that, which is
I
pretty
think
damn cool.
I think that's the other one with like doing all this stuff as well, is with time you'd wanna have progression.
Yeah.
You'd wanna I don't wanna say like I don't wanna say move up, or like maybe that's not the right term, but maybe branch out to doing different things, or yeah, yeah, I like, yeah, merch would be a good one. And I think, one thing I wanted to talk about is like, um, you know, people expect now, okay, once you start,
I think I know what you're gonna say.
once you start putting out stuff like this online, you create a following, you put out a series, you put out episodes and stuff like that. Now people expect things. They expect. I want. I need this every week. I need this. I want to see this and that and this and that, and then comes, you know doing all this, takes time, takes
Yeah.
money, and this and that, whatnot. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, how Tim was recently, he was talking about this actually, like, he makes a joke out of almost everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's just how it is. But the reality is, people expect all these things, but like, what, sometimes you, for a growing brand personality, or whatever, like, they might need some help. And what I appreciate, bro, and I really respect, and he says, like, um he help me, like, if you want their stuff, you put, you I'm
Yeah.
putting in 101% now, and like, you gotta pump in some fuel for me, keep to help me go,
Yeah.
because that's the thing, like, if you want someone to grow, and okay, I put it to you this way, bro. Maybe a huge celebrity, a singer, comes to town, goes into Spark Arena, $150 a ticket, $120 a ticket, or whatever, like, you'd pay $120 to go see this person sing.
Yep.
But now you're not gonna pay for the guy from your neighborhood, or from
Yeah.
your town, or whatever.
Yeah, I get.
You're
I've
not
heard this
support.
comment before.
He's like, he's, this, okay, not say he, but she, like, is trying to do some stuff. You're not supporting this person. They run a show, they run an event, like, you're not putting in the support, like, that. And I want to say, keep that same energy,
For sure.
but like, the reality is, people are not doing that. And even, I think, like, okay, for maybe I would say, oh, this one I gotta be real careful how I say that. Okay, maybe one thing I see is, like, okay, we talk about a really good example, UFC boys, all right, the UFC fighters in our country now, like, everybody's, it's great, everybody support them, the country is behind them, you support them, you see them doing well, and stuff like that. But one of the things that I feel that there is a lack of is, before all these boys actually got there, they didn't have this, man. Where was
Yeah.
that attention?
Yeah.
You have our local boy now who's doing really well, is going hard. Where's that support, man? Like,
Yeah.
do you want to wait for someone to get into the big TV before we start,
I just think that's, just to put it out there, I don't think that's it. That's never going to change. I personally, what you've just stated, I operate the complete opposite to that. I would much rather go to the neck of the woods on Friday, see the 3 unknown local hip hop artists coming up supporting a local dude, right? Obviously, that's subjective. I can't go every Friday or every Saturday, right? But I would much rather, I support local hip hop more than I do, your Kanye's, your Drake's, all that. I can't even tell you the last good Kanye song. I can't even tell you the last good Drake song. That's just me, right? But I can tell you Diggy's latest release, Mellowdown's latest release, Team Dynamite's latest release. I just brought Team Dynamite's vinyl. It's $35. I'd happily give that $35 to them when they also document the whole process and kind of the ups and downs they went through to get to that final product, I'll happily give you $35. In saying that, that's just me. I don't expect that in return with anything I do, or else you're kind of just in this weird mix of emotions, right? And you're just going up and down. Like you're kind of also questioning your output if you do that. So I don't expect that in return with anything I do. But dude, I'll forever support local. It's just better seeing kind of the hometown hero make it. And if we're gonna talk about, you know, UFC and MMA and stuff, I've only ever drilled kickboxing for fitness, right, in my life. So I know kind of what goes into it, right? That just means I have way more respect for anyone that puts their foot into the octagon and faces another human and goes to war with them for 15 minutes, right? Like that's wild. I don't care if you lose
15 or 25.
Yeah, right? Like that's mental. But the cool thing is from, you know, seeing that story, like I said, I've never had an MMA fight, probably never will because it's fucking crazy. But seeing them succeed on that level just motivates me to do better in all my fields, whether it's creative, fitness itself, just seeing how some of our fighters just conduct themselves on the world stage makes me second check how much more can I be putting into my day and getting out from the work you put in. Right? Like, is there an hour you catch yourself on Instagram literally doing nothing but scrolling? That hour can be spent sharpening your toolkit. For me, it could be an hour on the timeline editing a video that I need to edit, or an hour scheduling a shoot 2 weeks from now, or an hour location scouting for a music video. That's how I view it. I don't think there are really, I just haven't met them, I guess, but there are many people that view it like that, because here, I mean, in New Zealand, like the first things is to strike someone down, right? You know, the whole tall poppy thing. Or
Hey you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. What is your take, bro, on like the whole, you know, for someone who's you've probably you know, born and raised in New Zealand, I assume? Yeah. So for someone who's been born and raised in New Zealand, what is your take on tall poppy syndrome?
I just piss it off, man. Like, honestly, if you flip, I just don't see how someone's success can bother someone. I don't get that. You should be able to draw or see the pathway they got to that peak and just apply it to yourself. Like I was saying, if there are certain gaps in your routine daily or weekly that you know you can tidy up, say, like I said, if you're on socials just mindlessly scrolling and you know that's an hour better spent to better yourself, one way or another, health and fitness, your skill set for your 9 to 5, you're just working on your mental, just catching up with your mates, making sure they're in check, right? That's another big one. I just don't see how you can just not take that from success stories that are out there. Because it's not like just anyone that is a New Zealander on the global stage, it's not like they woke up and said, I can swim an Olympic pool today. I'm going to just go be a famous swimmer. I'm going to walk into the octagon and fight for 25 minutes. Like, that's not a thing. There's years, there's even decades with some people before that, right? Me personally, I reckon just having that tall poppy attitude is just bullshit. I reckon everyone, if they just kind of like flip their mindset, looked at themselves a little more in depth, just everything would be better. Everyone's output would be higher. You know, like people, you just want to be, your mental game as well would be stronger.
Yeah, but
right?
that's the thing, right? It's so easy to sit down and just criticize somebody.
100%.
You know, like,
yeah.
you know, and we're humans, you know, we're humans, like human beings, we're lazy, we don't want to do shit, you know, we just want to sit on our asses, complain, and just like, you know, you just shoot someone down, like,
Yeah.
and I think that's, you know, the whole mindset is like, you know, especially when you see someone who you've like you grow up with, or you come from a school from, you know, like you was in school together and shit like that, and like when this person's doing better, like they struggle to accept that. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
but this person's just put in so much work. He's worked a lot harder, smarter, and they've done things right. Like, yeah, and I think this was the one I think I just recently heard today. People are afraid of hard work.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you think if you think about it,
dude, like, I'm just trying to figure out because I've never actually like worded it to someone like how I view this stuff, but it would be there. Like I said, myself and Tim, I don't think you can find a creative duo that works as fast and as hard as us. Like our output and quality just stays the same across the board. And I do think that's because we're on that same page. We've also put it out there. We've on a couple of bakery run shoots, we've needed a second shooter. We've thrown it out there. Anyone that wants to jump on, just send us a couple of examples of your work so we know kind of like we can
where the
match
skill levels
where it's at. And we've pulled people in that have been second cameras and helped out on audio. Like, and it's not a paid gig. Like, we do say that up front. Like, it's not a paid thing. We just need a hand. If you guys want to get the experience or that type of stuff, just come along. And that's when someone kind of comes through and does a good job. You're gonna. I do see it as them just being a hard worker. And then I've actually talked to a few people that have come through as a second shooter about what they do in their spare time as a creative or that, and it lines up with what Tim and I do. So we know kind of like, yeah, they're actually about it. They're hard workers. And if you just put in the work, man, like, and you have the clear vision and goals, you're gonna get there. You will get there. You're not gonna get there overnight. And I'm kind of speaking as if like, I run this multi-million-dollar thing, making money, any of that. But I do hold a lot of pride in what we've made bakery runs into, with the following it's got and what I know what it is going to be in the future. Like, it just excites me to even think about it, right? I do hold that very high.
But that's
because we've put in the work.
You have to have, I think this important thing is, sorry to interrupt you there, but you have to have a vision.
100%. Yeah.
And I think this is where, having a vision is one, putting in the work and staying consistent. And sometimes you're not going to get the results that you like, but you just got to stay on that path. And you just got to be, like what you said, you just got to be true to yourself and your brand and what you're doing.
A big one that makes people dip real early on is, not kind of getting any of that traction straight away. But the flip to that, to keep you on track, is to get that personal gain from every single thing you do. What are you bettering? Your skill set? Cool. This is a benefit to you. You're not wasting time on it. I don't think people see that with what they just immediately strike out as shit, or it's not good enough. It's not as good as this guy's when he's had 10 years in the game. Of course, it's not going to be as good. So, yeah, I guess it's just not putting in the hard work. Tim and I, we've kept our circle pretty small. I just think it's because, we just haven't quite met someone that's just matched it like bar for bar, so to speak. Like, there might be people with the skills, but they don't deliver on time what they said they're going to deliver in like 3 days. I'll get that to you, but they miss it. It's like,
I think that's the other one as well, like overcommitting. Sometimes some people just overcommit.
Yeah.
And you got to, like, as much as I understand sometimes some people want to work hard, they want to, churn out a lot of stuff and this, that, whatnot. But sometimes you just got to understand time is limited. You only have a certain amount of time. And if you got to use, obviously, one very important one, like, is using that time wisely, like, what you said, know. And I think we can go on about, like, how our phones and, internet and, like, social media, it tries to keep you, and that's the whole point, like, even like YouTube videos and whatever, like, the whole idea is to try to keep you on that platform, engage with whatever. So, like, I feel like sometimes some people try to over promise, and then you don't deliver. I would say for me, I would try to, under promise and then you just
over deliver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will
That's
be a
safe.
better way. But you gotta have. I think you gotta have realistic timelines and goals
Yeah.
for like some
Yeah,
people.
for
They want to jump on and like and it's good. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But you just gotta be realistic. Like because obviously with the success that you guys have got, you'd imagine there will be people who want to come and help out and be involved, and they might want some recognition or whatever. But yeah, like if you overpromise and then you don't, it just makes you look like shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
why do that?
end of the day, that's pretty much it. But yeah. I mean, that's simply it. Like, people just aren't familiar. I'm not going to say scared of putting in the work, just aren't familiar with just
The work
the
rate.
work.
Yeah, the work
Like,
rate.
it's also like kind of a belief in what you're working or you're producing as well. Like, I personally do think if we did refine a few things with bakery runs, it can sit on a network TV channel, right? Obviously taking out the swearing and maybe filtering things here and there, but the quality's there, right? And that the talent's there, and we just have that belief in that it's a good product, and going forward, whatever we do produce is going to be of that quality all the time, right? And then we just build on top of that.
Talking about that though, would you guys think, in the future it might go on a
TV?
Yeah.
We've had talks about it. With the 2 years I did at TVNZ, I quickly learned how those ideas on multiple levels operate and how they kind of morph to fit that structure. I think if we were to fit that structure to be on TV, the product that would air on TV would be very different to what you view now, right? It would be, Tim, can you not maybe swear as much here? Can you mention at least these 2-3 things that hit these sorts of beats throughout an interview? Like generally, and they would probably get guests on that are very relevant in news, right? Off the back of them doing a very good thing in their career, you're probably going to get them on the guest of that show. Whereas we just get people on who want to vibe with us. Like, you want to go to a bakery and just eat and just have banters, we're going to get you on board. Like, whether you've got a new release music or you've just acted in a whatever, doesn't matter. So it's those kind of things that there would be a certain mold you have to fit to get on TV. To answer your question, we have talked about it, but I think we're just so comfortable being in the position we are with bakery runs is we know what it is, and we don't want to just all of a sudden change it, because then people are going to be like, what? That's not what we're expecting. Yeah. The ways around it, right? Like, we could do a spin-off. It could be, I don't know, Tim improvises tours of North Island, and he just, I don't know, does a road trip. I'm making this off the top, by the way. We never thought about this. Yeah. Does a road trip, and in one day he has to hit up X amount of bakeries, and then he'll just review all 5 in a day or something. And then, I don't know, he ends up in Wellington, and he goes and interviews Jacinda Ardern or something. It's got to have that kind of payoff. Like, why is the viewer watching? Whereas right now, we're just like, yo, steak and cheese, yeah, it's all good, eh? Me. But I think that's what, so far, that's what people want. So we have weighted up. We just don't really want to, like, if someone wants to come and just pluck it out of our hands, slap it on TV, cool. Don't think it is with kind of interviews like with that old lady. I just don't think it kind of works. Maybe 11 o'clock slot on
late night
TV2
stuff
or something. I don't know.
The other one I was gonna talk about as well, because you guys started the other one, which is the Shack.
Yeah, the Shack. See, the Shack. It's so out the gate. I love it. So yeah, the Shack is with Just the Norms and Timprovise. They're the talent on screen, and it's a skit based show. TV show on social media. So if you plug in the Shack_NZ on Instagram, it's going to come up. And what's on there now is we've shot a few skits that are leading up to the show.
Okay.
I just realized how much I know and how much I should be saying. I don't know if I should be leaking it, but it's a skit-based show with those two. And yeah, it's pretty fucking out there. There's a few to be released still, and they're only going to get funnier.
Yeah,
like trust me on that. They're only
it's been pretty funny, and I think like I think even like the ones that have been out, like, you know, people just engage, bro, and you know they wanna they're waiting for the next one.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool. I thought that was a when Tim, I think when I did the podcast with him, he told me about that as well. I was like, man, that's pretty cool, like, you know, and I think like it's stuff like this, you know, and that I really appreciate, that people come out and they do this stuff, bro, you know, and again, like, you know, there's no in the beginning, there's no money and stuff like this that behind it. So like these are like, you know, big barriers. You know, I believe that there are a lot of people out there who might, you know, have skills and talents and this that, but everybody wants like a instant return, you know, and that's why people are not coming out to do it. You know, like
the Shack's a funny one because we've got the second weekend, so we shoot all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, because Regan doesn't actually live up here. So Justin Norms doesn't actually live up here. He lives, I actually don't know where the hell he lives, but he doesn't live up here. But so we have to schedule it like that, and we just have to drill the content, right? 3 straight days of just filming it. But the funny thing is they've written the show to, it's now we're at the point where it's incorporating like actual events of the production. So for instance, one of the skits, them looking for a producer. We're looking for a producer for the show. Like, let's just make a skit and incorporate it, right? I'm not going to spoil any of the other ones, but there are those elements that, they're now writing into it, and it's now becoming its own thing. And like if you think it's funny now, trust me, it goes even crazier.
Man,
it's awesome.
We're only looking forward, bro. The other one, you know, sorry, I had to jump back. We were talking about the UFC, the UFC boys just now, and so yesterday was a UFC 259, big event. I understand you're quite a big fan of MMA yourself. You know, you enjoy MMA.
Oh, yo. Okay, now we're talking. Okay. I got to be this dickhead, right? You've probably like, oh, another one of these. But I've been watching it, no lie, since UFC 84. This is when...
That's a wee while.
It was called Ill Will. This is when they were calling it like, you know, Ill Will, you know, I think Undisputed. Like they were naming the cards, right? Not just numbered cards. So 84. It was, who was the title fight for that? It was BJ Penn versus Sean Shirk.
Yeah, some time ago, bro.
Yeah. Lyoto Machida versus Keith Jardine, I believe. No, Lyoto Machida versus Randy Ortiz, I think. And Keith Jardine versus Wanderlei Silva.
Oh,
Keith Jardine got knocked out.
Yeah.
You know, because it's silver, right? So I've been watching since then. That was the first card I saw. First kind of proper moment that like I was like, holy shit, this is crazy, was that knockout on Sean Shirk. It's the flying knee, and then he lands up against the wall, and BJ just comes in, just smashing his face. And when I saw that, it's that whole thing, like, you know, they keep referencing, or for quite a while, they referenced UFC 1, you know, the rawness, the brutality of it.
I think it was on the fly as well, like the whole refereeing, when to stop the fight.
Yeah.
It was a growing thing. And still up to today, like people dispute stoppages and
for sure. It is. I can't remember his name, but there was one ref way back in the early hundreds, or around 80s. He was just known for fucking shit stoppages. I can't even remember his name, but it's definitely evolved a lot. I remember I was laughing the other day actually. You know, because people don't like change, right? And the funny one that I look back now, that is probably like one of the best changes to the sport, was when the Reebok deal came in.
Oh,
You know, when they got rid of like, you know, before the Reebok deal, like you were a walking
yeah,
billboard, man. You were like
everything was on
full tilt poker.com,
all colors.
Affliction, just colors everywhere. And when they announced the Reebok deal, I was like, oh no, that's just bullshit, blah blah blah. But now, obviously, I look back on it and it's just clean, right? Just clean uniform, brings that professionalism to the sport, makes it that much more legitimate in the grander scheme. And now
it is a little bit sucky for like the fighters because they don't make money off.
Yeah, they do lose that.
Yeah.
But
I think
mean,
Reebok,
look-wise,
it looks a lot sharper and neater. I think Reebok pays them a little bit of money as well, but like,
it's definitely not going to be as much as the the 5-10 grand sponsors they had for that one camp. You know, I get that, that would suck. I'd be pissed if that happened to me. But I mean, to answer your question, been a fan for a minute. The other crazy thing is, so Tim's been just as much of a fan as I have since way back, right? The crazy thing is, we would hunt all around Auckland to find a bar that was viewing the card on Sunday. We would go to like 10 bars. Are you showing the UFC card? Nah. Every bar you go to now, of course you're going to show it.
Yeah, probably
like,
stream.
You're just losing money otherwise. And I just got to throw it out there. Favorite fighter of all time, Anderson Silva. Like the GOAT, hands down.
Nothing wrong there, yeah.
Like, just obviously watching him doing his whole run, like, that was crazy. And to see the break that happened, I saw that and I was gutted for weeks. Like, I've never, any other sporting person or any other sport, never had that.
Do you think it's like, it's quite hard to see though, like, as a, as the great fighter that he was, and like, as he gets older, obviously you age, you slow down, your skills, your skill set might be there, but like you slow down, and that's just natural.
For sure.
And like, I think it was like, for me, I felt like it was quite hard to see his last fight in the UFC, just how he went out, and like Dana White actually didn't want him to fight anymore, and they were kind of saying like he shouldn't be fighting, but really you shouldn't be telling someone like he can't fight. Like if you want to fight, you're still gonna go to fight, wherever it might be. But
well, I mean, you're probably not going to tell Anderson Silva to do anything, right? It's Anderson Silva. Like,
he just does whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I do get what you mean. Like, it is... Yeah, I think a lot of those last fights, though, it's just like the passing of the guard. And that is actually pretty cool to see. Like, obviously, the big one is when Izzy fought Anderson Silva. Like,
that was huge.
Like, I'm getting a bit teary-eyed thinking about it, right?
Huge,
like, that was like a passing of the guard to, the newer gen. And I just think that, fighting's just in his blood. He's probably just going to do it. Just keep on doing it one way or another.
And that was what to be honest, man, if he goes to a lot of these other organizations and he fights on like One, or he fights on Bellator, bro, he probably like fuck people up. He probably smash most of the other guys. But at his age, should he be like taking it easy, enjoying all his hard work that he's done? And then that's the funny one, like, because you've worked hard for so long, it's just in you, man. Like,
yeah, dude, like, man,
sometimes
you see
people
some of the
struggle to pull the handbrake.
Oh, no doubt. I don't doubt that one. But dude, there's some of the videos you see him in training sessions. He's still ducking and weaving just as fast as most of the division, right? Which, fuck, dude, yeah, Anderson Silva, man, the GOAT.
I listened to his the podcast that he did.
Yeah,
and it was a bit sad, like I could feel like he still wanted to go, but the UFC was not really behind him fighting again.
Yeah,
that was quite sad. Like,
yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
I felt quite sad.
That is, yeah. I mean, end of the day, right? It is a business.
That's right.
He is inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, definitely. So, and it'd be disrespectful not to.
Oh,
you know.
he'd probably whip everyone's ass. There'd be some major disrespect. But I just want to mention the first time I saw him fight was, I think, 91, UFC 91 versus Patrick Cote.
Oh,
And Cote blew out his ankle or something.
oh,
Yeah, so it was just the first round, and just, Silva doing his thing. And then, I think Cote blew out his ankle. And that was the end of the fight. And I was just like, oh, shit. That was a bit of a weird stoppage. It's kind of similar to the Peter Yan fight. That kind of like odd stoppage.
The recent one?
Yeah,
or the one
the one on the weekend.
Oh,
just like, it was like, there's that weirdness to it.
What do you think about, man? Obviously, it was an illegal shot. It was but what is your take on that? Like, do you think he was at an angle where he couldn't really see if the other knee was down?
Oh, dude.
Or,
I mean,
or was he just frustrated when Jan was on the when Aljo was on the ground? Aljo was trying to get him to grapple with him.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
frustration.
Put it straight. I feel like I can't really chime in on too much, right? Like I said, I've never rolled on the mats. I've only really done like a bit of kickboxing for fitness, right? But I think Rogan and that said in passing that his corner told him to throw it, and he just threw it.
Yeah,
that's what they said on the broadcast. But
Habib came to DC and said that he was asking them. I think he was asking, and then they might have said, "Yep, hit him, or attack him, or something like that, or kick him."
Yeah.
But I don't know if they said like there's definitely some miscommunication there. But like I don't think they would have said knee him in the head.
I don't.
Maybe kick him. Yeah. Maybe kick him in the body.
Yeah.
The leg or whatever, but maybe not knee him in the head.
Yeah, he got hit, man, because he tried to get up. Hey,
that was big. Yeah, that was a big knee,
Crazy.
bro. Like,
so,
but what was funny was like, okay, it's not funny, but the internet's it's a rough place, bro. Internet's a rough place. And,
there's some beings on the internet.
And yeah, that was like a. Man, that was a strong, knee. And I don't know if he knew at that point that if the fight got called off, he would have automatically won by DQ. I think for a while he was not too sure.
Yeah.
But they kind of pieced it together, and maybe, I mean, I understand, like, people say, like, that's not how the way you want to win a belt. But, when you think about it, like, man, you talk about doing whatever it takes. I don't blame the guy, man. Like, if he did really, like, act it, I've never tasted one of those knees to the head, but I'd imagine it wouldn't be nice.
Yeah.
But and like if he really did act, if he did act it out and he was smart, bro, that's tactical, and then he win the championship now and he has the upper hand.
Yeah. It's now that you pointed out, it is a DQ on his record, right?
It was, yeah.
It could be one of those things. It's sort of a different level of example, but kind of, I don't know, just a motivator in a sense. Like the other one that comes to mind is John Jones doing his illegal strike to, I think it was Matt Hamill, and that was his first loss on his record. And then look what happened after that.
Yeah, I think it was an intense fight. Like Jan and Aljo, but I think closer to the end of that, I think Jan was picking up. He was picking up, and he was showing why he was the champion. Yeah. But there's just that one mistake that he did, and like I think I really don't think it was if he realized the position of Aljo, I don't think because he's a real talented guy. Like he wasn't in any position, like he was hurt or he was down, like he was down on the scorecards or whatever, to have won it. Maybe just frustration or like, bro, because you gotta understand as well, like it's hate. Just all this emotion and instructions, and in the apex where you can hear everybody now, like
everyone,
and that's what, like, even Max Holloway was talking about this as well, that I listened to. Like you can hear DC talking, Joe talking, like
that'd be weird.
And your corner, you can hear your corner, their corner, like it's different, man. You know,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
so when you have like all this information and you're trying to stay focused as well. But I mean, an arena is like 20,000 people, whatever. Like, it doesn't help either. But you know, yeah, that was a little bit of a weird one. And what are your thoughts on the boys and their performances?
Every time Team NZ rolls out, fuck, they perform, win or loss, man.
Exactly, man.
I don't want to see. Okay. By the way, I'm saying this like I got no involvement with that. I'm just a fan, right? But I am on the internet quite a lot, and you do see that bullshittery of like, they lost, blah blah blah, and it's just immediate trashing, right? Like that's just bullshit, straight up, just fucking bullshit. That everyone from Team NZ performed insanely well.
Talking about that, like trashing, do you see the recent one where Curtis Blades got knocked out in his against Derek Lewis, and someone it came out on Brendan Schaub's podcast, like he talked about it. Someone actually rang up Curtis Blades, got hold of his number, rang him up, and just like started making fun of him and told him like he got knocked the fuck out, and like recorded it and posted it on social media, bro. That's insane.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, like what happened to that, man?
That's honestly that's just the typical, I'm gonna say it would be, the overweight beer drinking kind of redneck type of bullshit going on, right? Like plain 100%. And simple, if you're a fan of mixed martial arts and you know what goes into it, all the decades people or years and decades people invest into it, you're gonna just respect the shit out of that, plain and simple. Man. Like I said, I'm never gonna probably step foot into an octagon in the fighting capacity, right? But I'm gonna have the respect for everyone that puts their foot in there, squares up, and goes for 15, 25 minutes, right? Like that is unreal. I can't think of anything crazier. Maybe All Blacks versus Wallabies final match or something. They're doing the haka and all that type of shit. That's pretty cool. But on the card, dude, like Carlos's fight got fight of the night for a reason.
Yeah, man.
That was fucking
bro. I was like, I felt that. I think, bro. Okay, this is my opinion and my take on it, right? When Carlos hurt him in that first round, you could see that guy was hurt, and you'd be lying, if anybody says that guy wasn't hurt. Yeah. He wasn't attacking back at all, bro.
Yeah.
And I felt that Carlos actually gave him a lot of time to recover, and I felt like Carlos gave him a chance to fight back. I just felt that way. When you looked at it, like Carlos was careful. He didn't want to get caught as well on your way in. You don't rush things and all that. But I felt that, I just felt that Carlos gave him space. If Carlos, and that's the thing with like refereeing and what we were talking about just now, and how the whole with like weird stoppages and all that, like you see with a lot of other fighters, I noticed that when they hurt someone, like boom, they just rush in and they like salt and pepper, bro. Like just put it on. They just try to get the stoppage. But like with the with like Israel, with Carlos, like you could see they were not rushing, bro, and they're very careful, very calculated as well, very calm, and I appreciate that, bro. Like obviously, you want them to get the win, but like when you look at it, like instead of having the fight just stop straight away, like I think it gave you a chance to fight back. Like
and I think it's stuff like that if you just, and once again, like I said, I've only done kickboxing as fitness, but I'm gonna assume it's once you're actually in it and you actually understand the mechanics behind all of this, you're not going to get otherwise. If you're a couch-ridden UFC fan, you're going to be that dude on the call-up show, right? Yeah. And that's the other thing is like when fights just go to the ground, that crowd's like, boo, boo. They're not looking at the technicality of jiu-jitsu, right? Like passing wrestling, guard and like all the chokes. Whatever, all that, right? Which... if you're not doing that, just piss off, in my opinion, right? Just get out of there. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good knockout, but I love a good triangle choke. I love a good anaconda. All that type of shit. And just seeing people do that work. Yeah. And what was impressive was, man, I got to give a shout out to Kai. Kai, I knew you were going there. You're the man, bro. Like, I'm not going to lie. When they're on the ground, I was up. I was just like, bro, I was like holding my breath, all this shit. Yep. And then, when he did his work, got up, and then just
Bro, a huge
That was
respect to
crazy.
Kai. Kai, man, he just didn't allow that guy, although he took him down to the ground, he just didn't allow him, man. Like, no, bro, you're
Yeah,
not gonna
it's
do
not
it,
gonna
man.
happen, eh?
I think, these guys get the idea now, like, they want to try it, like, after, Kai's fight with Royval and, getting into that choke. These guys want to try it now, like, we can't go, like strike for strike with this guy. We're gonna take him down to the ground. We're gonna try to choke him, whatever. But man, that one there when they, Kai just at the end of that just didn't accept that, bro. Like, nah, you're not gonna do this. I'm gonna get up
Yeah.
and we're gonna fight. Like he
Yeah.
just didn't accept it, bro.
Yeah,
Man,
no,
that was so
good
good.
shit.
And I was like fucking jumping, and that's what Kai does, bro. And he obviously walked away with a performance of the night.
Yeah.
And that's what he does, bro. Like he just didn't accept it, and he got up and he just put it on, bro. He put it on
Yeah.
him, man. And I was like screaming at the TV. I was like, "Fuck, God."
Yeah, I've my partner's like, she's told me she wants to film me when I'm watching a car. And man, I know it would look hilarious because like I'm just like this watching sometimes, and I know it, and I catch myself, and I'm like, I don't give a shit because I need this fight to end because I'm losing my hair.
Yeah.
Sort of shit,
Oh,
right?
I know what you
It's
mean, man.
crazy.
But, man, and I think that's the other thing as well. I think there were a lot of things driving him to win for this one. It's just especially having a son, bro. And you hear a lot of people talking about it when you have a kid. There's this different kind of drive. It is, bro. It really is a different kind of drive. It pushes you to do, to go that extra. Like
yeah, no doubt.
just that extra push, bro. I don't know where it comes from, but it just gives you that push, man. You have now another living thing,
You
bro.
have to worry about and raise
that,
and all
that
that
you're
kind of stuff,
thinking about, and like you pushing harder, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I was also happy for him, man. But man, one thing I want to talk about is Israel's fight. I thought that was a absolutely awesome fight, man.
Yeah.
It was quite a technical fight. Like, bro, it just kept you on your toes, man. Just watching, you're like, ooh, bro, and they were very careful. I think Jan was very careful. He didn't, like, what Izzy was saying as well, like he didn't make his usual mistakes and stuff like that. And but man, if anything, man, that scoring, that 49-45, that's ridiculous, man. And even Dana was talking about it in the post-fight press conference. It was like,
I only watched back.
What's that? 10-8 round.
Izzy's the press conference, and I think on that matter, one of the guys was talking about how in Invicta they tell the corners if they're behind or something like that.
Yes.
And then they decide if they want to give them the shout
to the
fighters. And then obviously he was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive you'd probably see some pretty explosive fifth rounds.
Exactly.
If that shit's
fourth,
getting yelled,
fourth
right?
or fifth.
Yeah, like. So I'm all for that as a viewer.
Yeah.
As a viewer.
That will be, I think, yeah, I mean, like, giving, Max Holloway was talking about this, like, before previously as well. He was pushing for that, like, they should do it. Have open scoring, bro, and people can see.
Yeah.
I think, like, the viewers can see, fighters can see, so they know, like, when it's different, bro. Like, when you're down on the cards, it just gives you that extra...
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
That motivation for you as well, because yeah, man, like, in my honest opinion, like, watching that fight, I thought Izzy had the first 3 rounds. I thought second round, could have floated, but I thought Izzy had the first 3 rounds. Fourth round, we would say give it to Jan because he had that takedown. Fifth round, I would say first half to Izzy, second half to Jan. He heads off to him. He took Izzy down. He knew that he couldn't, if he would have continued going, like, on the stand up, he would be in a bit of trouble. I think it was a part in that fourth, Izzy got him in a bit of trouble, and that was when he realized that, look, shit, I gotta take him down, try something else. But it was funny. Like, people came at me as well, like today, bro. It was like, man, why do they why are they not training wrestling or jiu-jitsu or what? I was like, bro, do you even train wrestling and jiu-jitsu and all that? Like, bro, for the shit that you're saying, man, like I don't give a shit about you losing your $20 or your
Yeah, that's
$50
it,
on
eh?
bet, whatever, man. Like, if you wanna talk about that, make sure you go and do that yourself, and then you know what it's like before you
That's I personally can't do that. If I can't, like I've mentioned, like I've only ever done a couple of kickboxing classes for fitness with my brother back in the day. You're not gonna find me being like, "Fuck, the middleweight champ should do this. He should do this. By the third round, he should be blah blah blah." He should like, what the fuck is this? No,
Why are
you're
you
never
telling-
gonna catch me doing that. But a lot of people out there are like that. I don't know for whatever reason, but
It's insane,
if
man.
I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be before I say that sort of shit. You're gonna catch me at a gym day in day out before I feel like I'm validated to
give that
to
kind
say
of
that,
to
right?
tell someone what they're supposed to do. You know?
Even then, if you can spend a whole year in the gym, you're not going to be as good as one of the UFC fighters, right? So
Exactly,
like,
Exactly.
yeah, there's that. But I personally just feel like a piece of shit if I'm doing that. I
Yeah,
never
bro.
do that, plain and simple, because coming into anything, I like to figure out who's putting the yard hearts, who are the key figures, who's putting who are the OGs.
Exactly, man.
Like who wants to be that person in the room thinking they're spitting the knowledge, and then everyone that knows what they're talking about is just looking at them like, what is this guy saying?
Yeah. It's crazy as well. Like, you look at that, man, and you watch a lot of these previous fights, and you understand when someone takes you down to the ground, how Izzy did not let him, carry out his ground and pound. He took away a lot of his shots. Like,
Yeah.
do people need to understand how hard that is? Put it that way: you get your brother, your sister, your family member, or your partner to go on top of you, and you try to make sure that they get them to throw like full blows at your head, and you try to stop those blows from coming to your head. And you tell me how hard it is.
Exactly. Most people are going to be gassed with the weight on them. Like 10 seconds later, they're just going to, and then when you're getting punched in the head and you have to defend that, pull them close and all that sort of stuff.
You try that, man. You try that, and you tell me, bro. Like,
yeah, it's and I think that's why I like MMA. I like the idea of watching two guys that have found kind of their purpose in life, where they feel this is their purpose, and they're going head to head. They're going punch for punch, right? So even if it's just all on the ground for 3 rounds, I'm going to respect that. If it's a TKO, I'm going to respect that. That's just me. A lot of people don't. Like I said, it's probably the redneck, beer-ridden couch dudes that are like ringing up that show and all that.
It is mixed martial arts, so like
yeah.
And as much as some fighters, they're good on the in their stand up, some they're good on the ground, and they try their best to get themselves. I mean, that's what you do. Like, if you have an advantage, you try your best to fight at your advantage. Like, it only makes sense, like Kamaru Usman's a amazing wrestler. He wrestle you. He strike. He's really good at his striking as well. Like, and he has shown with his fucking insane jabs that he was putting out. But if he can wrestle with you,
he's gonna wrestle.
He's
probably like a Div 1 multiple title. Bro, like of course he is.
Look at the fight with Masvidal, bro. Like, he just wrestled the guy, and bro, it doesn't. That's what makes him the champion, bro.
Yeah,
he does what he's good at, man. And
just some people.
And like, man, I just have load of respect for all the guys, Carlos, Kai, just all the boys, and what Izzy has done. Like, he's just dead, and again, like what he said, man, dared to be great, bro.
Exactly. That after every fight, he just puts that page in his book that just solidifies him more and more as the GOAT. In my head, right? So this is an L on his record, right? Who gives a fuck? That fight was awesome. And just the composure he has afterwards, taking that loss, you can be sure as hell he's going to go back to middleweight and just beat the shit out of everyone. Like he said. I think he said that in the presser, right?
Exactly.
But it's Team NZ specifically. Like, people... I just like the idea that the pathway they're paving for people in our country, right? Opening it up to younger people to come through. They want to be the next Izzy. They want to be the next Kai. They want to be the next Carlos.
And that's cool.
all that type of stuff, right? Like, I respect the shit out of that. Like, that's the coolest thing out of this whole thing that I feel personally, right? And then obviously just doing mad work. CKB, what, last year they got Gym of the Year?
I think it was 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Like,
best gym, best MMA gym.
Like, if you...
Number one MMA gym in the world.
Like, I probably would have
might have been
never
last year as
guessed
well.
that would happen. Yeah. Like, that gym's in our backyard.
Exactly.
That's crazy. And it's cool. Like, I'm going to throw it back to being that, I watched this stuff before it was big, mainstream, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I would have never guessed that NZ would have been stamped like it is right now, watching back in, like, 84, and then when Mark Hunt signed to the UFC, all that type of stuff. Shout out to Mark Hunt, by the way, the OG, right?
Yeah. And Mark Hunt has, like just a recent clip that I put out as well, when I did the podcast with Carlos, we were talking about Mark Hunt and how Mark Hunt has played his role, in like helping all the boys.
Exactly.
Carlos, Tafa Brothers, Bam Bam, what he has done to help like the next generation, coming up. And that was pretty cool to hear, bro, because you have some fighters like, I don't know of like who exactly or whatever, but sometimes some people, they might not be involved in that sort of thing, helping the next generation. But at the end of the day, I don't blame them. When you get to the position that, for example, Mahan has got to, it's up to you, man, what you want to do.
Yeah, totally.
And you can't blame the person. If he doesn't want to help anyway, it's cool. If he wants to help, it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But they put in, like, that's the thing, like all the work that I think this is the other one with like, people talking about trashing Floyd Mayweather, for example, how he flashes his money and his wealth and this, that, he buys all that. Bro, he worked hard for whatever he has, and he can do whatever he likes with this, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Plain and simple, just don't watch it.
That's it, bro. But he did whatever he wanted to do, and he wants to live that life, and
his money.
And I think that was what the Floyd Mayweather kind of early on in his career, like he built this thing where people watched his fights because they hated him and they wanted him to lose.
Yeah, to lose.
But if you think about it, like that's also the more people who are watching, the more money you made. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, it is. And
now he's got his next fight with Logan Paul.
Yeah, Logan Paul. I think
which is kind of like
rescheduled. I think they had a date and then they rescheduled because I think they weren't getting enough pre-sales for the pay-per-view. I think. I don't know where exactly it's the fight is gonna be at, but I think they tried to sell like the pay-per-view
online and
online and I think they didn't get as much interest. Maybe I think it was too short of a time frame before the fight, because like look at what the Mayweather and McGregor fight, like they built they had good time, between to build up the whole thing. They did tours, they did like shows here and there, and like just get all this interest, man. It worked.
It would be wild if Logan Paul won there. I don't think he is at all. I don't think he has a chance.
Nah.
But from both sides, right? It's good to take that fight. If he knows he's gonna
for
whip
Logan
his
Paul,
ass.
I think Logan Paul has everything to gain. Like,
exactly.
Chances are he might get knocked out, but like, bro, I mean, if you've ever been knocked out, like, you probably won't even remember you get knocked out. And Logan Paul is the kind of guy, like, he doesn't give a shit. He probably just do whatever.
Yeah.
He has a track record of like not giving a shit, and just like the whole jackass kind of thing. They just do whatever, and like he stands to make so much money out of this, and not only that, what it does for him after this fight with Mayweather.
Like, win or loss.
It's gonna be so much. It's gonna be so much more than what he made from that 100%. Fight. Look at what McGregor has done for they call it the Mayweather effect. They call it the Mayweather. Look at what Mayweather has done for McGregor. Like it or not, people want to agree or not, like he changed McGregor's life, man. Like McGregor was already notorious up to a certain level, and then he fought Mayweather, and then he just went from here to here.
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
it's wild,
the amount of
bro.
money he made, the notoriety he got after that.
Real quick, I want to throw it back to Team NZ, right?
Yeah.
When is Blood Diamond going to get in the UFC?
Ooh, that's the one. Like you know, there's a few guys.
I'm
There's a
kind
few
of
guys.
asking you because for the obvious connects, right? But is that a waiting game? Because man, fuck, he's pretty lethal, man.
He is, man. He's definitely one of the next few guys to be on. But with I think this one we've got to ask like Eugene, because definitely I know Eugene and AP Sports Management, which is the you know Ash James and Tim Simpson, like the whole team, like they're trying to push the CKB boys, you know, or the New Zealand boys to get on. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, like it's just up to the big organizations, and sometimes like, you know,
just time waiting game, I guess,
yeah, like just waiting for the right time, or like it's sad, you know, it's sad to see, but like, you know, how, you know, when you have a lot of like the fighters from the US that, you know, maybe some people would say like, you know,
I get what you're gonna say.
Their level might not be, but
Yeah.
they're in. But it just makes sense, you know. Put it this way, okay, if I had a business now and I need a fighter, if I need a last minute fighter or whatever, you know, it would cost less for me to get you who is already here than to get someone from across the border somewhere.
Yeah,
you know? Just the cost of like flights and this, that, whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. It will come. It will definitely come. It's just a matter of time now, and just that moment presenting itself. Because these boys are, bro, I can tell you this: these boys are ready to grab this when it comes. Like, the moment it comes, they're ready, and that's the thing, man. It's what's crazy is these guys are always ready.
Yeah.
You know, not just Blood Diamond. You have like Kevin Juice. You have, just to cut that back a little bit. Not just Blood Diamond, but you know, you have fellas like Kevin Juice, Cameron Ralston, you know, BJ, heaps of guys, man. I'm probably not saying all their names, and you know, there might be a few of them. They would be a little bit angry, but yeah, there's a few of them, man. But these guys, they stay. This is the thing about city kickboxing, is these guys stay ready all year round,
waiting in the wings.
Put it to you this way, man. Junifer like had his fight 2 weeks ago. And that'll be 2 weeks ago, right? So he had his fight 2 weeks ago. He was gonna go back into the gym the week after, but obviously there was the lockdown after his fight, and he's back in the gym now. He's training, you know.
Oh, man.
And you know what I mean? Like, that is city kickboxing for you. Like this, they're back at it. They're training, because I think that's just the whole culture, you know. That's there.
No fucking around, man.
That's how it is. And you know, unless like if you take some huge damages from your fight or whatever, obviously, you know, you can come and train and all that, but you know, you wouldn't want to spar, or because at the end of the day,
stand down would be like what? Is it?
I don't know. It depends.
3
like,
months? Oh no,
depends
it's
what
depending.
what
Depends
you
on,
know,
like,
your reviews, concussion, your doctors, and like there's a lot of things that come into play. But at the end of the day, man, like longevity, bro, I think that's real important, and that's what the gym's big on about. Like, you know. And you hear a lot of fighters talk about, like, you know, on Joe Rogan and on like Teddy Atlas, you know, the fight or whatever. I understand like people want to show that they're hard and they're strong and all that, but like the recent one with Max Holloway, I think people really need to, if you can spend some time to listen on that, and you know, longevity in the sport, you know, and taking damage, you know, and you know, even what Izzy said in his post fight, which you know. He said about like there was a fighter who remembered him as someone who like could bang and, you know, take and like he said it to himself, like he was like, yuck, you know, I don't want to be remembered as the guy who like keeps, you know, taking shots. Like you want to deliver and not take shots. That's how you want to be remembered.
Yeah,
you know, and at the end of the day, like, you know, you don't want to end your career and have like, you know, head problems and memory problems and
shitty record as well.
You know, so longevity, man, it's important as well, knowing when to like I believe slow down, pull the handbrakes, take care of yourself, man. Like, if you recover better, you probably come out better as well in your in your next.
I like hearing that sort of shit. Just makes me respect all the fighters that much more.
Exactly,
It's
man.
crazy.
Like it's no joke, you know, when you hear someone go through like you know, people go through concussions, and you know, like head trauma.
Yeah.
Like that shit's real, man.
And it's like a long effect, eh?
It is.
On your body and all that.
Yeah, I think like I had an experience like when I was young, bro. I think when I was a teenager, I got into a fight and then got clipped, bro. And like yeah, I at that time I did, bro. When you're a teenager, bro, you don't know, man. Like
Yeah.
you probably just right after that you're gonna get back up, man. You're still gonna fight again. You know, like you don't know, but with age, I think with, you know, access to information, knowledge, and all that, like people should be more smarter, you know, about.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the one that why I was saying the Max Holloway podcast was his fight with Kelvin Cater, bro, and you know how they like Kelvin Cater. He was a warrior, man. It was a dog, bro, for like taking that much, like for Max Holloway to deliver that insane number, someone's absorbing all that.
Dude, a Max Holloway fight, man.
Oh, it was insane, man. That was crazy.
Dude, that guy, eh? But yeah, no, I totally get you, right? Like, yeah, you have to be smart. It's plain and smart. Like we were talking about the creative side of stuff, right? Using your hours in the day smartly. Same thing in that.
Definitely, man.
Right?
Man, we could go on for hours about MMA and all that. But anyway, I think we might have to wrap it up in a while. I don't want to keep you on. But before we go, man, we've come to the section wise words from the wise man. For people watching, listening, bro, if you give them some wise words.
Oh crap!
You know?
What would it wise be? Words. I'm just gonna give it. I'll just say exactly how I operate day to day. Just make sure, with whatever you're doing, it's for all the right reasons. You have your goals, obviously your short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, and you hit those. Just put in the hard work, and it will just come, pretty much. Also, find like-minded people. You probably get that a lot from everyone else, but if you just put in the hard work with people that are in it for the same reasons, working towards those same goals, have the same understanding around workflow and output and quality in that, and transparency is another one. Just make sure you're transparent, like straight up. If you want to create an idea with said person and you want it to make money from day dot, tell them so they know they're on the same page, so it doesn't get messy down the track, right? So transparency and just keep nailing those goals. That's how I operate, man. It's all a personal thing on my end, and everything that I've kind of gained or whatever people might think is success is just the tack on the side of that product, right? So. Yeah, because success to different people has different weight. And then the final thing, like you jogged my memory there, is the measurement of success, right? I can actually give you a real life example. Success to me was producing one season of an original idea with Tim. First season of Bakery Runs. That, just to getting to that end goal, producing the first 8 episodes, major success because of how much you learn from start to finish. And then the product after that is getting better. Every episode is success now. Like whether it's getting a larger guest on, the quality of the show's stepped up. I figured out how to, use this particular drone shot, cut next to this shot. All those little things are now successes in my head. So anything we do forward is just a bonus, essentially. Yeah, man, right? There's so much more sense of accomplishment as well. I think this, at the end of the day, man, like you gotta have passion to do what you're doing. Oh, 100%. You gotta enjoy it. If not, it just becomes a drag. I say it a million times over. If you find someone that works just as hard as myself and in a duo format, myself and Tim, send them our way because we'd love to expand our team. Oh man, that's pretty cool, bro. Yeah. I think that's really good advice, man. And you've given us a little bit of insight on like the stuff that you guys are working on. But other than those stuff, like what are your future plans? Like, what do you have lined up? So just folding back into what I was saying before, goals. My goals for 2021. We have bakery runs at a point that we're comfortable with. I want to now kick up a few other ideas or series under my production company. One being in music, one way or another. I want to create a music series, and I want to do another food related one, but that has to be quite different to the format of bakery runs. It can't be just slotting out something in the same format. I just don't think that's totally fair, or it would still be relatively the same audience. And if it's not, if you're going to copy something, it has to be like, everyone involved, just a different idea. So one more food series and one more music series under my production company. I'm down to collab with anyone, all skill levels. Yeah. Someone that's more experienced, someone that's less experienced that wants to pick my brain. I'm open. I'm an open book in that sense. I'll happily take the time out for someone that has taken the time out to ask me a question or that. I'm not about that like higher level sort of bullshit. And I mean, I've already kind of started with this goal, getting back into music videos. Like I had done a couple of music videos prior to like a few years back, but now getting back into it with my skill set now, like the output's going to be that much better compared to doing music videos 3 or 4 years ago. So the ones I have shot and I'm going to spit out soon, it's going to be night and day compared to the ones I did. So that's already rolling. Getting back into the music video game, and I'm always looking for ideas to fulfill and like create.
Like,
right?
I can sense that. Like you're always on the search for something, and that's hungry, bro.
It is
hunger,
and like,
man. And
I'll put it to you straight now, real quick. But I know we're trying to wrap up, but I haven't made a dime from any of the ideas we've kicked off the ground. And by the way, that's where I got the name. Like I'd always be like, okay, we've got to get this idea off the ground, right? Guys, come on, we got to get it off the ground. That's where I got the name from. Yeah. But yeah, no, I haven't made a single cent, but yeah, the drive to just create a solid package that the benefit to me is in the future, I can say, here's what I've done, here's what it produced, and it's off the back of nothing. Person with money, if you want to provide a pretty, like, like a large sum of money that we can use as a budget, imagine what you're going to get.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's
value,
the benefit to me.
It's exponential, bro.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Like with that or not much, this was the.
It's pretty much kind of just investing inwards on yourself, right?
Exactly.
I'm very confident in what I'm able to produce on all sorts of levels. Music videos, series like the bakery runs, corporate video. I've done that as well. Bit boring here and there, but
where can we see obviously where can we see like the music videos once does it get put on off the ground, or does it get put on the artists?
Both. So
okay,
how I'm going to run it is, it's pretty much kind of like how everyone does it. Off the back of the release, it'd be the artist. They do their thing. I'll just reshare it, and then just get permission from them down a little bit down the track to post on kind of off the ground social page, just to put that on under that off the ground banner.
Like this is stuff that we've worked.
Yep, we've done this, we've done that. Because end of the day, it's for the artist.
Exactly.
They obviously need to benefit as much as they can off the back of the first week on that release. Everyone else that's involved, pumps it out through their socials, gets that reach wider and all that type of stuff. But I've got offtheground.nz. That's where I'm going to house everything. And then my personal account is just SlyWill, SLI Will. Starting to use that more. Yeah. Real quick, I'm not as active as all the other creative people out there, but I want to say that's because I'm behind the camera, I'm on the edit, doing twice as much.
Man,
but social media is important.
Yeah, post-production is harder sometimes, man. Or most of the times it's harder than, that's the funny one. Like I tell people, like, it's easy to do this. Like we sit down and we talk, we just enter, bro. That's what it is,
But I got to mention real quick, see, the reason why you popped up on my radar is because of the sheer output on socials, right?
Yeah.
Like the quality was there, consistent, guests are on, the talk is good. That's enough for a podcast. To me, just saying, to me.
Yeah.
And there is, in my opinion, only a handful of podcasts locally that are doing that. I'm not going to name names.
Yeah.
But just saying.
Yeah, I think that was one of the, a few things that I had when I did this was like, I wanted to make sure that it was of a reasonable quality.
Yeah, for sure.
And like the content as well, but I didn't want to I don't want to just get the big guests, the people with the big names, I wanted to help people who, have not got that platform or that stage, they haven't got to that stage yet, the up and comers, or the smaller guys, and like the guys and girls, and yeah, just helping some of these people, give this like a platform for them to talk and share their story and like put it out there, man. Like it's so important, bro. I feel like, and that's the thing, man, like even if nobody is gonna benefit, bro, from anything that I put out, I benefit from it, bro. And for me, that's huge, bro.
100%.
Like I have my sense of accomplishment for doing every single episode. Like I'm happy.
Yeah. That I don't think a very small amount of people have that. I'm going to say it like this. I don't think you can teach that either. Yeah, from what I've known. The only other person I know that's like that, I work with him. I work with Tim.
Yeah, with Tim, yeah.
Like I will work with anyone else that kind of thinks like that. But yeah, if you don't gain financially, you should be gaining elsewhere, benefiting your skill set, or furthering your skill set, widening your network. It's a very big one as well.
Exactly, yeah.
But dude, end of the day, that self-satisfaction of creating that product start to end and releasing it, that honestly, every Bakery Runs episode, doing that is enough for me. Everything else is a bonus. Like I said, haven't made a cent.
Exactly. Yeah, and that and that's the thing. Like I'm not in a rush to make money as well off of it. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people. Sharing their stories and like all those sort of stuff. So, yeah, man. Like I'm just keep doing just keep doing what I do, and just keeps me happy, man. And
sure.
It's not an easy task. Keeping up with like obviously you have your jobs and you have this, that, whatnot, and to do this, and like back to what we were saying about post-production, it takes a lot of time, but you really gotta have that drive, if you 100%. Want to
Yep.
But anyway, man, it's like we can get going on. Will, brother, I just want to say thank you very much for your time today, for coming and doing this podcast with us. I'm definitely looking forward to the stuff that you're gonna work on, the music videos that you're gonna release. This the whole one take short thing. That's pretty cool.
Should be out soon.
Yeah, and definitely looking forward to the next season of the Bakery Runs.
Me too.
And also all this other stuff that you have on the side. I wish you nothing but success, brother. And I'm very sure this is not gonna be the last time that we'll be doing a podcast together, man.
For sure.
Well, thank you, brother.
It's good.
All right, guys. For those who've stayed on, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Ooh. Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you on the next one.